Well, hello, accelerators. Happy Monday. I hope you had an amazing weekend. How many of you joined us on Saturday for Frasier? Is he not amazing? He's always so awesome and taking out his time, to spend a little time talking about social media with us was just amazing. He did that totally last minute for us. Today, though, we have what I call Frasier's better presenting half of our dynamic duo of social media superstars. But she's not going to present on social media today. Jessie Lee Ward is with us, and we thought it'd be refreshing for her to train on something a little different. So today she's going to talk to us about culture and creating a culture for success. And if you know her team, I don't know of anyone that has a better culture, and it comes straight from the top. And she's going to give us some secrets and some tips and some strategies and just train our butts off. So, Jessie Lee Ward, thank you so much for being with us today. We're so excited to have you, and take it away. We're excited.
Oh my gosh, that'll make me cry. Way to start it out, Sandy. My goodness. Hey, accelerators, how are you guys doing? It's so good to see all of you on here again. I know I feel like I get to spend all this time with you guys while sneaking in on the trainings and following along the 90-day run. I feel like all of us are getting skinny. And, I don't know if we're just not eating or maybe we're really taking care of our health. So I'm like, oh gosh, we're doing it, guys. We're doing it. So I don't know what day we're on, but I committed obviously to the 90-day run. I think it's like April 3rd, we're done. So are we surviving? Who's surviving? Who's thriving? Who's like, yes, I am doing this thing. Out of curiosity, whose business has grown? Throw a yes in the chat for me if your business has grown at all during this 90-day run. Barely treading water. I feel like that was my mental health. And so I jumped on a plane and I started doing the 90-day run from other locations. I'm like, I got to get out of here, man. I don't care how big your house is. These four walls start to feel small after however many days we've been rocking and rolling for. So, and I just want to give you guys a reminder for those of you who maybe you're not getting the results you want yet before I jump into this training today. My biggest, piece of little information for every single one of you is that this is a 90-day business. Okay. So if you are not yet reaping the results of your work in the 90 days, just keep it pushing. Maybe not at the same intensity as you did in the 90-day run, but what you started doing 90 days ago is exactly what's going to start paying off in just a few more days here. So I just want you guys to know that, because I know a lot of us, I could do a whole training on, I have a training I like to do about the seasons. I think it's a Jim Rohn training that I Jessie lead up, but we're not going to do that today. You know me and my trainings, goodness gracious. I'm like an encyclopedia of them. So I just want to say I'm proud of all of you. I know I've trained a couple times here during Accelerator, and I've seen so much growth from a lot of you, and I see your wins in the chat, and it's super cool to see you guys winning. So I'm going to jump in today and I'm going to talk about culture, because I have to tell you, I don't think culture is something. I think it's kind of one of those things that is everything. Okay. I've been talking a lot about this lately when I do trainings for other companies or for, I'm part of a lot of masterminds. I know Eric's talked about that with me. And so I have a huge network of people and I train on these giant stages. And I'll tell you guys, the one thing that is lacking in companies in general is culture. And I have gratitude for personal development and for things like this, like the Accelerator or anything like this, because for whatever reason, I read a book by Tony Hsieh many years ago, which is called Delivering Happiness. Now, rest in peace, Tony Hsieh, unfortunately, but he wrote a book called Delivering Happiness. And I knew right away that whenever I decided to build a team, because I did not yet have a team, I wanted to build a team based around culture. And so something Eric Worre, I'm sure, has trained all of us on, and he's given me the heebie-jeebies on it 10,000 times, is he always says, you're going to have big legs of business leave you. Haven't you ever heard him talk about that? Walls of Jerusalem. He's done, the whole training about you got to build it, and then you got to build it again, and you 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 build it again. So for 11 years, now somebody, if you're superstitious, knock on some wood for me, okay? But I have ran this business and all of my businesses with culture leading from the front from the beginning, which is now 11 years. I have yet, after 11 years of business, to lose a leg of business. Now, Eric's warned me. He says, it's coming, sister. It's coming. I'm like, stop. Don't wish that upon me. And so I want to just preface this training, not to guarantee that you're not going to lose a leg of business, or not that people aren't going to quit or any of these things. It's just to say, I really believe this Accelerator program is helping us do network marketing a better way. We already know network marketing is a better way for business. And I think we can do network marketing, which is a better way, even more so a better way. Does that resonate with any of you? Does that resonate with any of you? And so today's training, I really want to get into that with all of you. And I want to show you some things that have absolutely scaled my business. And I know I'm a bit of, the network marketing business. What would you call me? Alien, unicorn, something. I know I'm weird. Okay. I know that. I never claimed to be normal, but I have been trying to prove Eric wrong now for the entire over 6 years that we've been together. And he's been my mentor. And I hopefully will continue to never lose a big leg of business ever, 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 ever. And so I want this training today to be something where maybe you don't implement all of it, but maybe you can take a couple of things and go, wow, if I do that, it'll scale the business. Wow, if I do that, I will have lower attrition. Attrition is just the rate in which people leave your organization. And that's really how you scale. It's not about chasing to replace. It's about holding on to good people and developing good people, building a foundational team that allows you to scale. And then when you're not worried about people leaving and people are so in love with your culture, you can really grow a big business. And I want that for every single one of you. So the quote that hangs at my company's corporate office, that is a Jesse Lee quote, is pretty simple. It just says, people don't leave where they're loved. It's a Jesse Lee quote. People don't leave where they're loved. And I truly believe that. And so this training today is hopefully going to help a bunch of you do just that in a way that works best for you. I feel like my camera is shaking and I don't know why. So sorry about that. Okay. So let's get this party started. I've got a PowerPoint for you and I will elaborate. So I do large events for our team. Thank God COVID is slowing down because we just had another team event. Some of you that are here and part of the Accelerator, you might see yourselves. So I believe this. So you can write this down right off the bat, which is content is king and culture is queen. Okay. And we all know that if you like to play the game of chess, we all know that the queen, that we're trying to get that queen, right? We're trying to get that queen. So one sec, because now I want to have the chat open. Okay. Well, whatever. Hold on a second. Hold on. Jessie Lee and her technology. Every time, guys, every time. Jessie Lee's culture is bad at technology. So this is actually our last team event right before COVID. There were 811 people who showed up. Our team is in 41 countries and growing currently. It's something I'm super, super proud of. And we will talk a bit about, I hope I get to talk a little bit about international culture. And I do want to leave some time for some questions at the end. So please take down some notes. But again, culture is everything. And it's difficult to even imagine having an organization that doesn't have so many different countries represented and again, so many different cultures represented. And we'll talk about the little gang signs and stuff like that as we go along. But I just, that photo, I just love so much. Okay. So this is a really important quote. Culture is happening whether you create it or if you let someone else create it for you. I believe that is a Tony Hsieh quote, but I'm not entirely sure about that, so I couldn't appropriately quote him. But culture is happening whether you create it or whether you let someone else create it for you. What do you want yours to be? Now, I'm going to stop for a second. I want to talk on that, okay? I got to tell you guys, like, how many of you, actually, I don't even know why I bothered to stop sharing. I can't see your faces. I got so excited to look at your faces. Okay, whatever. I can see the chat better at least. I will tell, I want to ask you, because now I can see the chat. How many of you have somebody, now Eric would say that it's the behavior that's the dragon. How many of you have seen behavior in your team where you go, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. And you let it kind of go along and along and along, maybe because they're putting volume in, or maybe because you think they're going to be top in sales or whatever. And then you start to see your culture shift. Have you ever seen this? I learned this from Eric a long time ago. Thank God. but it's your responsibility as a leader to make sure that you're protecting your culture. And it's your responsibility then to create the culture that you want. So I'm going to get into this to help you guys start to make a blueprint of the kind of culture you want to have. But I just want you to think about that, because it does start out like little baby lizards. You know, like if any Game of Thrones fans, put GOT in the chat. I'm curious. There we go. So when Khaleesi has her little baby dragons, they're like little lizards, right? They hatch and they're like, have you seen that scene? You know, like just like little like smoke comes out of their cute little mouths. Oh, they're so cute. But that's how the problems start on your team, right, Teresa? Right, Sandra? Right, Atilia? They start so cute. Like, and you're like, oh, you little gremlin, like Anthony said. Oh, come on. And when you don't correct that little dragon, that little baby lizard starts to grow. That little baby lizard starts to get stronger. That little baby lizard starts to test the waters in your culture, right? They start to say things in chats to Alec or to Jessica or to Yvette, or they reach out to Beth, or they say something to Daniel. And these little baby lizards, they turn into full-blown dragons. And if you've ever seen Game of Thrones, what happens? Dracarys. And they burn your whole village down. We don't want that. Okay? So you've got to correct the behavior, like Eric would say. Okay, so let's get back to the slideshow. All right, so it's happening whether you create it or whether you let someone else create. You're going to see a lot of photos throughout this presentation that are going to show you some of the different ways that I like to build culture. This is obviously events. This is obviously celebrating different cultures and countries. And then this is actually a group of leaders we took to Mexico. And I did not enjoy this at all, for the record. We went ziplining in Mexico, and I really feel like I had like damage done to my body. But you know what? Everybody was happy about it. So moving right along. Okay. Why can't I figure out? There we go. Okay. I can't, hold on. My screen has like the chat. I don't know how to do. I'm sorry. Hold on, guys. I got to move the chat. The chat's right in the center of my screen. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Here we go. Must do's. I need you to decide what matters to you. What do you think people will think about when they think about your team? Now, these are our team's core values, and I'm going to go through this in a second, but these are ours: empathy, execution, excellence. I got to fix this little question mark on excellence. It's ironic that it's on excellence, right? Because I would want it to be excellent. Energy. Those are our 4 core values. Everything runs back to these 4 core values. Everything. If I have to decide if I'm going to do something, I just ask myself, is this a demonstration of execution, of excellence, of energy, of empathy? If the answer is no, I don't do it. If the answer is no, we don't put out that promotion. If the answer is no, we don't do that Zoom. If the answer is no, we don't do that promotion. If the answer is no, no, it's no. Okay, those are the core values. And so it also helps for conversations as you begin to lead when somebody says something like, well, Diana, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry. That is just not in alignment with our core values. No. Okay. Again, you can write down any questions and we'll get to there. So choosing core values. This is an assignment. You need to write down the 5 to 10 core values that are most important to you. What are characteristics that are most important to you? And how do you conduct yourself? Are y'all the leaders? Throw a yes in the chat if you're the leader. Of course you are, right? Who do you think they're watching? The answer is you. This is from our team event 2 weeks ago. I'll tell you something. I didn't know this photo was being taken. You guys like that guy on stage, right? He's like my favorite. Y'all know who that is? Okay. Like, I didn't know this photo was being taken, but somebody on our team took this photo. Don't you think that's showing that I have empathy to learn from somebody who's very different than me? It's for Khan Khalifa, of course, right? Don't you think it shows my energy towards his training? I'm learning like I don't even know what he's talking about. And we're 2 of the most aligned leaders I've ever seen in network marketing history. Okay. The excellence, right? I'm not slouched over. I'm not kind of listening. I'm not in my telephone. You can see both of my hands in this photo. I'm learning. I'm listening. I'm paying attention. You see, I'm paying attention. So if somebody were to turn around in the audience and see me, or walk into the event and see me, they see me living up to the 4 core values. You can also see on the background of the stage, all 4 core values are printed on that backdrop. It's on everything we do. Okay. Now, I know in your business, some of you aren't yet hiring and firing people yet, but I will tell you, because we're going to get into a deeper leadership conversation today that you've never heard me present before. There are positions inside of your network marketing team you do have the opportunity to create and to fulfill. And you do need to basically promote or demote according to these core values. Who are you giving a ton of your time to? You need to be smart about this. Okay, you need to be thinking this through before you just let somebody up on your stage because of a rank, somebody up on a stage because, you feel guilty because they've been in business for a really long time. One thing I will always respect about Eric is Eric looks for current credibility. I don't know Eric Worre's core values. I don't know that he's thought this through or whatever. He probably has, but I will tell you, you're not going to get on his stage if you're not in alignment with him. You're not going to get the platform of Network Marketing Pro stage if you're not in alignment with the culture of Network Marketing Pro. There are a lot of $1 million earners that Eric goes, I don't think so. I think that's a Ponzi scheme. Or Eric says, I don't think so. I don't like the way that they conduct their business. Or I don't think so. I heard that they raid different companies to go build their teams. That's not in congruence with me. And some of you let people walk all over you. That is that lizard that you're turning into a dragon. And so you need to live by your core values once you determine what you think they should be. Now, I just like this photo because it looks like I'm flying. Okay. But I already told you it starts with you. It starts with you. So I have to do a lot of things, guys, that I don't necessarily feel like doing. Let's just be honest about it. I was really tired this night and we were going to go-kart racing. I'm like, you know what? I said I was going to go-kart racing. I'm going to go-kart racing. I went to Italy. None of those bags are for me. Poo-poo. Okay. But I will tell you, if I have a core value of excellence, when somebody does excellent things, I like to reward it. I'll talk about it in a little bit. The shirts you can see, right? Just getting together as a group, all of these things. And we'll talk about swag in a minute. I do like Louis. This is so important. This idea of a wow culture. How are you different? How are you going to be different than all of these other leaders in network marketing? Who is going to want to join you because you attract them? Who feels in alignment with your culture? Right? Well, you can't copy me because if you copy me, then you're trying to directly compete with me, which I just don't think that's just probably not a good idea. Okay. Like, don't do that. I want you to be you. How are you different? What makes you stand out? And write that down. People join people, not businesses. And this is one of my most important things is how do you make people feel? How do you make people feel? Look at Brittany's face. Do you see her face? You can dissect a million things about this photo. Do you see how she's in the forefront and I'm in the background? Do you see how I'm celebrating her ridiculously loudly? This photo is clearly not about me. Do you see how I'm letting her husband be part of this moment? Do you see just the absolute joy on her face? See, you see that, but you don't even, I'm going to tell you a story that I really have never told before. Hold on a second. I want to stop sharing my screen so y'all can see my face. So I'm not telling no lies. So about 20 minutes before this photo, a couple things. She did not know she was hitting this promotion. This is a really big promotion she hit 2 years ago. Okay. And I just love that photo. She lived in Arkansas at the time. This is before she moved to Texas. Now she's like my neighbor. Okay. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices because your priorities should never be in conflict. Have you ever heard that before? Maybe from me. Your priorities are never in conflict. Okay. Let me tell you something. At the time I was in a relationship. Okay. And Kimberly knows the story. I see you in this chat. So my culture of making sure she is seen is really important. So I messaged her husband. I said, she is really close to a huge promotion. I also know our company is going to drop a sale in about an hour. He's like, okay, what do you need me to do? I said, I need you to get in the car and I need you to drive the 6 hours south. By the time she gets here, her team will have rallied behind her and gotten her to the promotion, and she won't even know there was a sale because she thought she was too far. You know, like, have any of you ever felt like you're too far from a promotion or something like that, but maybe somebody has some insider information? Does that make sense? Like, I had the insider information. All right. So hubby packs up the kids, packs up the wife, takes the phone, takes the phone from Brittany, gets in the car and starts driving. Okay. Now I knew I was tracking it the whole time. Now this was a Friday night. Okay. This was a Friday night. And on Friday nights, this was just stupid. He shouldn't have picked this night anyway. But my ex-boyfriend goes, Friday nights are date nights. I said, that's a terrible night. Like, fine. All right. So I had agreed to these date nights on Friday nights. And I've done enough personal development to know that you should have a sacred date night with your partner. All right. It should be non-negotiable once a week. All right. So I knew Brittany was hitting this promotion. And so I said to him, we're not throwing axes today. He goes, no, we are. It's Friday. It's date night. I said, the axes will be there tomorrow. You know, the things where you go like this and you like throw it in the thing. I'm like, the axes are going to be there tomorrow. Today is the day that Brittany is hitting excellence. Today is the day she hits a promotion. I already got the husband in the car with the kids, with Brittany. They're already headed south. Today's the day. It's happening today. Well, then I got yelled at in the bathroom. And you wouldn't be able to tell from that photo. This is when I broke up with the boyfriend and then went to Italy like the next week and didn't come back for 6 weeks. Okay. Like, I just made an executive Jessie Lee decision. We'll leave out all the rest of the details because I was like, well, we are not in alignment. Okay. He was Eastern European. I should have stuck with Southern Europe. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. But anyway, I've digressed in this training, haven't I? But anyhow, you don't see any of that because what was most important in that moment was making sure this girl had a magical moment. Does that resonate with any of you? So what makes you stand out? How do you make people feel? And then write that down. Don't be a manager. I want you to provide opportunities for other people to shine. If you stop making your business about you and you start making it about other people, you will win. So I love this. We'll talk about this in a minute, but this is, you can see it. You can see the logo everywhere. You can see core values. You can see, their gang signs. We'll talk about it in a minute. Okay. So a couple of things. Make sure you are appreciating your team for what they do. I'm going to talk about what this group is that you're looking at right here, but these people all have very different skill sets. And so I am constantly encouraging teaching and learning moments. How many of you, out of curiosity, wish that you had more people here in the accelerator? Does anyone wish you had more people doing a 90-day run? I'm going to guess yes. The reason why that kind of stuff matters to you is because it's learning moments, right? Latoya will say, Brenda will let you know, Tammy will say, right? Lindsay, Carlo, Jennifer, Sue. You want more people in this because the way you build your business, I learned this from Eric Worre a long time ago. He said the best teams in network marketing are the best trained teams in network marketing. I know that whoever has the most people in the accelerator, those are going to be the teams we see on the stage at Network Marketing Pro for years to come. Okay. His mastermind, I think I have 11 people in his 25,000, 30,000, whatever the hell it costs. I don't even know. Okay. That mastermind, $25,000, $30,000, whatever it is, 11 people. I don't know how many accelerator. There's a lot of you. Well, I wasn't going to let anybody give the opportunity to pass me. No, I wanted these people to learn. I wanted these people to have access to excellence. I wanted these people to stretch themselves out of their comfort zone. How many of you will agree that paying for Accelerator stretched you outside of your comfort zone? I hope so. If it stretched you, you're probably taking it more seriously, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. That's like the blessing and curse of network marketing is people join for $200. $200, $200. Come on. You could sell $200 at a lemonade stand, right? $1,000, some of your packages, $1,000, sell some shoes, sell some random stuff around your house, $1,000. Start getting into $12,000. Dang on. That's pricey. You're going to show up a little differently. You're going to listen to the assignments, aren't you? You're going to do it, aren't you? He says 90-day run. How many were like 90-day run? Let me put on my running shoes. I hope I didn't sell those. Right? You're like, I got to run, man. I got to go, man. I got to do this, man. Right? The stretching, the uncomfortability. I think it's so important. And the opportunities you have to train people. I hope you guys are making relationships. Here's maybe a little assignment for you, like a little baby side assignment. How many of you are making relationships here inside this accelerator group? Like how many of you are starting to notice the people who keep showing up? It's like the same, because I notice, I can see who's leading in this accelerator. It's very obvious. It's obvious who's doing it and who's not. Just to be honest with you, I'm your friend, Jessie Lee. I can tell from the Facebook group. I go in there like a little voyeur. I'm like, let me see who's working. I know James Zeng is working in this 90-day run. Like the man is running. He posts like 93 times a day. He's copying me. I keep seeing, I'm like, that man's live again. All right. That man's trying to make some money. Okay. And now I don't want you guys to harass James. It doesn't have to be James, but have you cross collaborated? Some of the best things I've ever done is join Eric's mastermind, create deep relationships with these people, and then say, okay, will you train our team? I'll train your team if you train my team. I'll train your group if you train my group. I'll fly to your whatever if you fly to mine. Hey, you're better at spreadsheets. I'm better at culture. Want to swap? Right? And creating little groups of your own inside of this. You guys aren't really thinking outside the box if you're just joining 90-day run. Like you're in a 90-day run and all of y'all are struggling together. Well, you're all struggling with the same stuff. Why don't you create little groups that you meet up once a week? Oh, see, that makes sense, doesn't it? That's why you come to Jessie Lee trainings, because I just speak common sense into all of your hearts. All right, so let's get back to this training, okay? But communicate and appreciate your team for who they are and what they do. Now, this one right here, praise what you want more of, ignore what you don't. I want you really to pay attention to that. There is a culture inside of our team where it's almost like, I don't want to say rainbows and sunshine because that's not the exact way to describe it. But if someone is doing something terrible, no one knows. That might sound weird to some of you. I don't highlight bad behavior. I highlight good behavior. So I was watching the chat and some of you were talking about how, I just had some narcissists quit the team, but that's it. I've never had anyone good leave the team. I've only had these crazy people leave the team. I saw your comment. Right. Make sure you don't even bring attention to that. Right? You don't bring attention to the crazy comments on social media. You don't bring attention to the people who don't have anything valuable to add to the conversation. I praise loudly the good behavior. I praise loudly when someone shows up and collaborates. I praise loudly when someone does something extra. I praise it very, very, very loudly, very loudly. And I ignore the rest like it doesn't even happen. Your company, team, whatever you want to call it, name matters. What's really cool about our team is that all of the team names end up being related to Empire. Okay, so it'll be Empire and then it'll be like the Royals or Inspire Empire or the Dynasty or whatever. And I think it's super cool because then we can all use the same logos. I think imagery is very important because then when people see things, they think of you. As an example, we are always using crowns, like this little gang sign we have in these photos. And I will tell you, when people see crowns out and about, they take photos and they tend to work their business more. If you need a website to create logos because you're not sure how to make them on your own, Fiverr with 2Rs.com is great. But you need to think about this. What is your brand? What does it represent? And what do people think and feel when they think about it? Now, as a heads up in regards to this, those of you who have team names that have your name in them, take it out. Do a rebrand. Nobody wants to feel like they are owned by you. Okay? Autonomy is really, really important. All right, take a screenshot of this because this is a whole lot. This is a whole lot. Y'all know I love events. Y'all know I love training. Y'all know I respond to people. I really like community, okay, or any kind of texting service so I can just go on my computer and I can respond very quickly to people. Everybody on our team that is personally recruited by me does have my personal phone number. Your favorite things is, write this down, a Google form. Do not DM me asking for my Google form. I just want you to make your own Google form. Let me explain it like this. How many of you, out of curiosity, feel like you know everything about your team? Of course not. Like random stuff. How many of you know, let's say 20 people on your team's birthdays off the top of your head, and spouses' names, and animals' names, and what their favorite flower is, and their favorite airline to fly, and their favorite store to shop at, and their favorite designer, even if they've never shopped designer before? What's the designer that if like money wasn't an issue, where they would shop? How many of you know their shoe size? How many of you know their shirt size? How many of you know their favorite colors? And I mean everyone. How many of you know the kind of business tools that they could use that would be useful? How many of you have their Amazon wish lists? All this stuff. I do. For every single recruit. It's an onboarding form. When you join, you fill out a Google form. Go to google.com. Click on the purple one, it's Google Forms, and have a spreadsheet. Even little stuff like mailing address, email address, phone number. Like, what is your name? Like, what is the name you want to be called? Might be different. As an example, my name is Jessie Lee Ward. When it says, what do you want to be called? The answer is Jessie Lee. Don't call me Jessie. It's literally not my name. You want me to produce more and you can't even call me by my name? See, now you got me messed up. Right? Now you got me messed up, man. So I want you to think about this. If you've filled everything out and you have all this information, then when somebody promotes, what if instead of just sending them a random bouquet of flowers, you sent them their favorite flower? What if on Christmas, instead of buying them some generic cologne that you like how it smells, you send them their favorite cologne? Their favorite makeup, their favorite store, a shoe that they love in the right size. They're not even going to remember filling it out. What? Huh? What? Huh? You see, it's culture. It's culture. If somebody on a form said, I need a printer, when it said office supplies and you send them a printer. What did I say at the very beginning of this training? Never lost a leg of business. Maybe because I'm not sending them Harry and David pears on Christmas. Has anyone ever been personally victimized by like Harry and David, or personally victimized by like a bottle of wine? You're like, I don't even drink. What the hell is this fruitcake? I don't want summer sausage. Who did this? What is this? Does anybody actually want that? Or does anybody throw it all away? Because I throw it all away. Okay. Right. Like, yeah, you send people from the Middle East a bunch of pork. That's smart. You freaking crazy people. You don't even know these people. No wonder why they're joining other people's teams. These people are keto and you're sending them apples. Like, for God's sake. Okay. Unless it said I have pear trauma. Catherine said, right? Like, you're just not thinking. You're literally just not thinking. So think this stuff through. I'm glad you guys are getting used out of this. All right. So let's go back to these handsome men. Okay. I mean, it's just a really great slide, eh? Love languages. Y'all know 5lovelanguages.com. That should also be on that favorite things list because quite frankly, this is important stuff. Recognition. I have traditional businesses I do this with as well. In my traditional businesses, I call it a wow wall. We utilize an Instagram page where we do recognition shout outs almost every single day. Okay. So when somebody does something good, let them know. Okay. Y'all know what swag is. Y'all know what incentives are. If you were to make 5 phone calls in just gratitude a day that take 30 seconds apiece, I'm telling you, you would increase your checks. Do you welcome the people on your team? Do you send recognition texts? Do you write handwritten cards? Think about this. And when was the last time you went on tour? You know, this photo on the bottom is me in Italy. Look at the beautiful people, for God's sake. They just make them so different there. Okay. But this team, I'm telling you, this was June 2020 and the world was shut down. And I was talking to Fraser, whose birthday it is today, by the way. I was talking to Fraser about this, and we've been accountability partners for a while now. And when I got on the plane to Europe, which was difficult in and of itself 2 years ago, he said, you know what, Jessie Lee, I think you're the only network marketing leader in the world right now who's touring. And I just want you to think what that might have done for our culture, that I was willing to get on the plane and spend time with the people that I say I love, and then show them through my actions that I love them. So I tour again next month, back to Europe next month. Yeah. Can't wait. I cannot wait. Okay, here we go. Back to it. All right. So make sure you grab the screenshot of that one. Let's get to the next slide. Here's again. Joao, he's here in the Accelerator. So I included him in this sweet little photo. Look at that handsome Portuguese man. My God. Okay. So anyway, here are some photos again, just demonstrating culture, all those core values like I talked about. And just some fun events that we have put together. This is Australia. This is Hong Kong. This is Dallas as well. You can again see different things. Like, guys, you have to do things sometimes you don't feel like doing. You got to maybe write that down. Sometimes you have to do things you don't feel like doing. I didn't really feel like we had time to go to the Sydney Opera House. Alas, there we are. I absolutely did not want to TikTok 2 years ago, which might sound funny because now y'all know I train you guys on TikTok all the time. But I had a German leader. I think it'll play in a minute here. I had a German leader who told me, Jessie Lee, you have to do TikTok. I'm like, I don't have to do nothing. And he told me, will you please do this transition video with me? I'm like, oh my God, I'll play it in a second. I don't want to wear onesies, guys. Onesies are not part of my fashion whatever. Okay. Well, the leaders wanted me to put on a matching onesie at a holiday party. And so you know what? I put on a matching onesie at a holiday party. All right. So let's see. Let me see if this video. Okay. These are actually 2 videos, but. And I just say that to you guys because I think we don't think about it sometimes. It's little stuff like that. I didn't want to do that stupid video. Okay, but that man's business does almost $1 million in sales a month, including a global pandemic. I haven't been. A bad day happens, a family emergency happens. I can promise you a joker is going to still get it done.
When your friends tell you it's not working, when the haters tell you not working, if you keep doing the shit, I'm telling you, at one point, God says,
How many of you can see the culture? You don't have to know anything about what I sell, anything about what I do, but you can see empathy, you can see excellence, you can see the energy, and you can see I've executed an event. The answer I know is yes. Okay? Personal development, guys. Not enough of you are personally developing. And I know this 90-day run has been a big push for a lot of you, and I'm so proud of you for that. We've got to get better. We have to continue to elevate this profession. I give homework assignments out and I tell them, you got to listen to my podcast. You got to listen to my podcast. I tell them, you got to read this book. I tell them, you got to watch this video, right? I run contests constantly with requirements. I'm going to talk about the lab in a minute here. We have standards around how we train. We have standards around what we do. I think it's important. I want to explain the book club because this is actually a new thing that you guys are not privy to yet. And so I want to share this with you because it's been a really big, it's scaled a ton in our organization. So I've been talking a little bit about book club for a while now. And maybe, I don't know if any of you follow me on social media or not yet, but on social media, you know, I talk about this. You'll see our team post photos of these books. I was seeing if there's like one of the books next to me, but it's over there. It's too far away. I want to explain how I do this. So here was my thought process with the book club. Your team lies to you. Put a yes if you're like, dang, she's right. They tell you, okay? They tell you what they know you want to hear, okay? If you tell them to, listen to Jessie Lee's podcast, it's so good. They're like, yeah, I listened to it. Got it. If you ask them for 3 takeaways, they look at everybody else's takeaways and go, oh, here's my 3 takeaways. You tell them to read a book. You know what they do? They buy the book. They take the selfie with the book and they never open the book. Yeah. I'm like, really? What'd you learn? Then they're like trying to go on cliffnotes.com if that's still a thing. What did that book? Oh, my biggest takeaway is I'm not stupid. I wasn't born last night. Okay, you're not reading, you big liars. But you need your team to read. You need them to personally develop. So I said, I'm taking this into my own hands. So I started a book club during the 90-day run. And every day, they're just pop-up Zooms. So it's whenever I'm available. I read like Mother Goose, essentially, a chapter of a personal development book, and I explain it to them like I'm their teacher. Only takes 15 minutes. I don't read the whole chapter line by line by line, okay? Because I've actually read it, all right? Some of us actually read. But I actually have it all prepared, right? I'm ready for them. And I get on there and I show them how the book relates to their business. Now, here's the cool thing. How many of you have had a couple of days or a couple of moments in your 90-day run where you are exhausted? Anyone? Or the nose feel like they're drowning you? You feel like you're strangled by the nose? You know, Eric makes you reach out to 100 people and you're like, I'm going to actually probably die. Today is probably the day. If I get one more no, it's the end for me, friends. It's the end for me. Right? I know. It's terrible. No one likes rejection. Well, if you're the 500 best leaders in network marketing, you're the Spartans, if you will, of network marketing right now. You're the 500, not the 300. And it bothers you. What do you think is happening to your team? They know they're supposed to do it, but it is so discouraging. Doesn't feel good. Feels terrible. So what if every night, I'll tell you, I can see their faces. I can see their faces. They get on book club like this. you know, all day long. No, 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 no. I don't want your business. I'm gonna leave you on red. I'm gonna ghost you. Okay. No, 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 no. They get on book club. I mean, you can practically see the tears in their eyes. And then I start reading. And maybe I'm reading from a book about courage, or maybe I'm reading from a book about habits, or maybe I'm reading from a book about winning, or maybe I'm reading from Think and Grow Rich, or whatever. But I get on there and Mother Goose Lee sends these kids to bed with a smile on their face and encouragement in their hearts. And I tell you what, they wake up the next day for power hours and they're like, let's go. The nose can't get me down, baby. I'm ready. So I Mother Goose these people. And I will tell you, when we finished our first book of book club after, I don't know, 12 days or something, the first book we read was Winning by Tim Grover. The amount of messages of people who are like, honestly, I haven't read a book since high school. And I just read my first full book. I can't believe it. It's powerful. What kind of culture do you want in your team? People literally won't forget that. You're in your 40s or 50s and you haven't read a book since you were 16. And now you have on this team? Yeah, see, no one's leaving. You understand? It's culture. It's different. All right. So I love personal development. Those are just some ideas for you guys. All right. Now, this is new. You've never seen this before. Some of you might have been curious about what the heck is going on over here on our team. This is the lab. This is the leadership advisory board. We've added a couple more people and departments and doubled up some of the leadership inside of this since this photo was taken at none other than Eric Uware's house. VPs stand for vice presidents. We have all these departments. Okay, so I'm truly leading our team like a company inside of a company. Now, I know this is a higher level conversation, but I want to make sure that all of my trainings I do for Eric have something for everybody. So maybe this is the something for you if you are maybe, I know there's $1 million earners listening to this. I know there's multiple 6-figure earners listening to this. This might be for you. Okay. We run everything through a website called Notion to keep things organized and able to vote. Each of these people you're seeing in this photo heads one of these departments, whether it's marketing, social media, communication, finance, events, international business, environment, culture, training, or swag. All departments work together to put out campaigns in every single way you can possibly think. Okay. And so by having all of this run together, these people all have teams beneath them. And I'm not talking inside of their business. I'm talking about they have access. These are the most trusted people on the empire. Okay. They have access to the entire team. They get to put together committees and teams of leadership with heads of departments with access to the entire team. So they can maybe somebody over here on the left-hand side, they can take the initiative to reach out to somebody on the photo on the right-hand side and say, hey, I know you're on Kayla's team, but she says you're incredible at communicating and Excel forms. I need you to work inside of the communications department. I need you to help me run Telegram. Right. So our entire team is run through this. Oopsies. Our entire team is run through this, and it has allowed us to scale at such a large scale. It's allowing us to put together different campaigns, a lot of stuff that a lot of other teams are literally unable to come up with. Notion is not an acronym. Notion is an actual website. And I know that again is a very high level conversation, but I know there are some leaders on here that need that kind of high level, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drowning. I need some kind of organization. And it works very, very well inside of our organization. I will tell you, if you are not a wildly strong leader, that will not work for you, because you've got to fix your culture and align everyone before that ever works. And I will also tell you what the lab has allowed us to do is every single decision that is made, I have final say on it, of course, but I respect, it's 13 people. I respect those 13 people like they are my brothers and sisters. Okay. They are like my C-suite. My CEO, my CMO, my CFO, etc. They're not, but they are. Does that make sense? They are also the people that can get one-on-one coaching from me. At any time, they just reach out to my assistant and they can schedule one-on-one coaching. They're the only people on the team who can do that. They're the only people who get weekly incentives, monthly incentives. Okay. Like we get together, we work, and then there is something fun as well. Okay. They're the people who get access to everything. Okay. It's a different level of trust. It's a very high level leadership conversation. Not everyone's ready for it, but those of you who are, if you are in a position, you know who you are. It's been huge. And I will, fair warning. I see like Brittany's on here, so she'll tell you it took 7 months of weekly meetings and in-person monthly meetings for it to click. Oh, Kelsey's on here too. Kelsey's in the lab. Guys, it was rough. And I'm a freaking good leader. It was rough at first because not all of those people are friends. You understand? They have different gift zones. Some of them straight up don't like each other, but that wasn't the question. It was a respect conversation. And it was letting people who are incredible at marketing run the marketing for the whole team, not just their team. It was the people who are incredible at campaigns to run the campaigns for the whole team, not just their team. It brought the entire empire together as one. And now we are steamrolling. What's the word Eric always says? Market share. How much market share do you have in your company? It's very difficult to do if your entire team is fractured. Get your culture together and in alignment. All right, let's rock and roll. This next photo is just because I wanted to show you my new Lamborghini. Okay, I'm kidding. But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay. I already really talked about most of this anyway, but make sure you have communication if you want to retain people. People need to be able to get a hold of you. People need to be able to collaborate with people. And I already said it, but lead with love. Use that favorite things list. Use the Amazon wish list. Speak in the love languages. If you are around me, you might already know this. Does anyone know what Jessie Lee's love language is? I don't know if you know. Okay. I don't know if you know, but I want to find out who knows my love language. My whole screen just went black. What the heck just happened? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm back. No, it's not gifts. No, James gets it. I hate words of affirmation. Shut up about your words. Show me. Okay, I'm over it. I'm going to work the business. Are you? Or are you just going to talk about it? I think it used to be words of affirmation, and then network marketers gave me PTSD. Now I really hate your words. My love language is quality time. It's why I'm obsessed with trainings like this. I get to see your names. If you ever spend any time around me, I just slow down with you. I will look you in your eyes. I want to get to know you. I want to know your family. I want to know all the things. You know, like I'm the relationship girl. I want to know your family. I want to know if you hear the way I speak, you would know this. Why did I tell you, hey, it's Fraser's birthday today? Because I love him. I love Svetlana. I love Lil Mondo. I love Sandy. Y'all love Sandy? Sandy is network marketing pro. Y'all better give some love to Sandy. Anytime I see Sandy, I'm like, I need to find out what kind of things Sandy likes because Sandy's holding down the fort in network marketing pro. Y'all better put some respect on that woman's name. Okay? Come on. You got to know your people. You got to know this stuff. You got to make people know that they're loved. If you're speaking the wrong love language, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. All right. Sandy is awesome. This chat's making me very happy right now, giving Sandy some love. All right. And then look, this is the end. And then I'm going to take some questions. How cool is that? Look at that team photo. That is the coolest team photo on planet Earth. Can't tell me nothing. All right. That is culture defined. We were able to put that photo together, tape it all out. That thing was done in 10 minutes. We filed those people in like little ants on a molehill on the top of a parking garage. And it was so fast because people communicated. It was so fast because people were in alignment with the vision of what we were doing. It was so fast because everybody wanted to be part of it. And when you have a culture that people want to be part of it, people want to grow with you, people want to scale with you, people want to lock arms with you. I'm telling you, That's the magic in network marketing. And there's not enough of you that are focused on keeping your culture tight, and it's driving really good people away. And I don't want any of you to lose a leader. And I don't want any of you to lose a team member that you believe in. And I don't want any of you to not be able to scale your business. And so I really hope you take all the things I just said, and maybe you just pick one and do that. And then when you're really good at that one, add one more thing and do that. And then your business truly will scale. So I love culture. Thank you guys for having me again. I'm going to take some questions. I think Sandy's going to help me. Look, Sandy, the one and only Sandy. We love you.
I'm blushing. Thank you so much. That was, yeah. Okay. I'm blushing. So I'm going to do this. No, we've got a couple questions. Thank you so much. First of all, like I said, culture. Oh, she's amazing at social media, but this culture stuff I could listen to all day. She tells no lies and brings it. So let's ask a couple questions. First, do you present your core values in qualifying conversations, like before someone signs up? When do you present those core values to people?
Sure. So that's a really good question. What I would say is it's not in a qualifying conversation. First of all, it's how I am. So think about that. People see me living out those core values. And the second thing is such a good question. Every single call, we talk about the core values. Every single call. So if you're getting on a Wednesday training, you're going to hear core values. Our trainers are always saying, this is an example of empathy, consistently reiterating that. And quite frankly, guys, if you're living those core values, that's who you're attracting, whatever your core values are. So it's not even a conversation where you have to qualify them. They're really going to qualify themselves because they're going to be attracted to whatever you wrote down as those 5 to 10 things that matter to you. Hope that helps. Good question.
Here's another great one. As a growing leader, how do you ensure you build a good culture that doesn't conflict with that of your higher up leaders and cause confusion within a bigger team?
Dang, that's deep.
I know.
So, all right. Obviously, I'm glad I don't know who these people are that are asking this, because I might be like, wee, spitting fire on stuff. I don't know. So here's the first thing is, how possibly out of alignment could you be? Right. And unless you need to protect your team from your upline, it could just be a conversation. I do have an upline. Lisa Grossman is my upline, and she's never tried to tell me how to run my business. With that said, if I was totally out of alignment with her, she might have to intervene and say, whoa, you're doing things that just don't make any sense. It kind of goes, it's not a question you can answer unless you really know the entire situation. I'm not a fan of de-edifying uplines. And if you are somebody who you are completely out of alignment with your upline, I just wouldn't mention them. And I would lead your team. And the best way to create a culture that you want is to build it. Does that make sense to everybody? So even if Lisa hated everything I was doing, I've become undeniable, right? So she's not going to tell me, oh, what are you doing these things, right? And so I don't know the person who wrote the question. I don't know your size business. I don't know what your upline is doing. I will also say I have had situations personally. I don't really talk about it ever on Network Marketing Pro stuff, but I've had the situation of uplines that were horrible, that I really felt like it was my job to actually protect the team from the upline. And in that case, it was just, this is what we're doing. This is the culture of what we're doing. This is how we're scaling. And I don't feel the need to protect myself from our company, but that would be the example almost where we rebrand everything on our team. I don't know who needs to hear that, but we don't use my company's flyers. We don't use our company's videos. We don't use our company's logos. We don't use our company's anything. It's all the empire. I've marketed and branded everything for us. We're really a company inside of a company at this point. So again, it really kind of depends. I know there's different levels of business that are listening to the Accelerator today. But guys, if you want to claim to be a business owner and a CEO, well, then you've got to run your business like a business, and you get to be the one who operates that however you feel best for you. But I'm not a fan of de-edification. I'm not a fan of bullying. I'm not a fan of doing things that are just totally ugh. but you can protect your culture for sure. And the last thing I'll say on that is you might just need to have a conversation with your upline if you're totally out of alignment. I'll give like a weird example. Maybe you're a little more alternative and they're super conservative. I'm just like an example I can think of. You might just want to have a conversation that's like, hey, I'm going to attract a lot of weirdos like me. Okay. And I don't think they're going to resonate with you and your Birkin bags and your perfectly combed hair and your designer outfits and your whatever. So can you let you let me lead? Like, I want to lead this. And that was actually, that was like a scenario that I was in for a while as well. Cause I'm a little rock and roll. So hope that helps.
Let's, we'll take, is 3 more questions okay? Or do you have time?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's kind of a follow-up question to that, kind of the same, but a little different. Ryan actually asks, what is your best advice for growing a culture with a lot of type A personalities? How do you get leaders to work together towards one team culture versus every leader growing their own team culture?
That's the lab, guys. So I'm glad you're asking this. I'm guessing Ryan asking that. That's probably whoever Ryan is. If it's a Ryan, I'm thinking you're a very big leader. So I'll just be very upfront and very honest with you. That's why I said the lab is only for very strong leaders. Okay? Because it is your job to take the emotions out of it and to align all of the leaders in culture. Now, I had to start these lab calls with very honest conversations like, hey, I know you're all not best friends. I know that. But if you can work together, we can double your checks. Do you understand? If we can work together, you're not good at analytical stuff. She is. You are not good at advertising stuff. He is. You're terrible at international business. She's great. If we pull this together, you have access to everything. And so it goes back to anything. You want people on your team to earn more trips. You want people on your team to hit more incentives. You want people on your team to sell more, to do whatever. It's vision. When you lose a leg of business, what's the vision of the leader? When volume is down, what's the vision of the leader? When you're putting together something like this with a bunch of type A personalities, which God bless you, I'm a little jealous. I love type A personalities because type A's are leaders more than likely, right? Or you can at least develop them into leaders. You need them, but you've got to align them on the vision. And so you have to be a vision caster every single day. Show the people where you're going and don't let dragons in on that. I'm just calling it the lab because that's what I call it. Don't let them in on the lab. Just because, and if somebody is not in alignment, it's okay to say, whoa, you can't have access to the whole team. You can't. I hope that answers Ryan's question, but it has to come from you. It has to come from you. You have to be the most undeniable. You have to be the one who leads the most from the front. Like, even if the lab doesn't always agree with me, which they don't, and doesn't always like me, which they don't, they 100% of the time respect me, and they don't outsell me. They don't out recruit me. They don't out promote me. They don't out anything me when it comes to business. And so you want the type A's to listen. Well, then you got to be the bigger type A. You got to be the leader.
I love that. Let's ask one. Ricky asks, or actually, sorry, Peggy. Peggy said, how long did it take you to develop your culture?
33 years, darling. Oh, God, guys. It's just, look, I read that book, like I said at the beginning of this, Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh. It's a great book to read. And I was reading a bunch of books, The Culture Code. I've watched tons of videos on culture, stuff like this. And I just started thinking to myself, what matters to me? Right. And I wanted a business. I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but I wanted a business that brought me joy. Wanted a business where I understand I am working. It feels like work. I don't know who these liars are who tell you, oh, work a job you love and you'll never feel like you're working a day in your life. Lies. I feel like I work every day. Okay. But I love what I do because there's joy inside of it. And it was slowly but surely, you know, in that book, they talk about stuff that I don't resonate with, but it gave me ideas. Like Google employees get a nap time every day. Did you guys know that? Like you work at Google, you get to take a little sleepy poo in a Google pod. Okay. Like, all right, whatever. But I started seeing different things like recognition, and it's a constant improvement. Again, this little tip I'm about to give you is going to be for higher. Well, it's going to be for everybody. More of you, my sweet network marketers. You have to get better at firing yourself. Okay. Now, Jessie Lee was not the best at this. I'm probably still not the best at this, but I am getting better at this every day. You might not feel like you have the resources to hire a cleaning person or an assistant or someone to run your errands or someone to do technology stuff for you or somebody to be your Sandy. I don't know. Sandy's probably out of your pay range, guys. All right. Like whatever it is. But the only way you'll scale, please hear me on this. The only way you scale businesses is by firing yourself so that you can do the activities that you have to do, because there are parts of your business you must do. You must create content. You must maybe be the heartbeat of stuff. But do you really have to be the one mailing the incentives? Do you really have to be the one following up on that Google form and making sure that so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so gets birthday cards? Do you really have to be the one doing whatever? The answer is actually no. And wherever you feel scarcity, I don't know, I'm on this tangent, but wherever you feel scarcity in your life is what you need to give away. For me, it's time. I don't have time. I don't even have time to be doing this, but I'm like, it's Eric, it's Sandy, it's my people, it's the accelerators. I love these people. I'm doing this freaking call. I always tell Sandy, anything you need, Sandy, anything you need. I don't have time for this. I always feel scarcity when I get on here, but I know I need to give it away. I know the way God works. I understand it. If you feel scarcity around money, same thing. And I will tell you, the only thing you cannot get back is time. I've heard a lot of incredible speakers in my life, and I just heard one last weekend when I was keynoting in Miami. And he was saying, even if it costs you $300,000 a year for something and you don't have money for it, the only thing that is priceless is your time. And the amount of us in network marketing who are incredible at stacking cash, and we are terrible at living, especially probably if you're part of this program, y'all better start to learn how to live, and you're not going to if you don't delegate. And I started delegating when I was broker than a joke, and it started with paying for a maid. I was spending $100 a week that I did not feel like I had, but I knew that in those 2 hours, I could make more than $100. So I would actually work my business. So I don't know who that helps, but the culture, yeah, it took me my whole life. And I'm always elevating and changing as well. So just keep that in mind too. You're always going to be growing. You're always going to be changing. You're always going to be getting better. And if you're not, then you're not doing the personal development slide that I told you to do.
Jessie Lee, thank you so much. We value your time so much. And just whenever she says that, yes, she'll be on. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One last thing.
Yep.
I asked for 3. So this is,
Go.
It is actually day 85.
Dang on.
90
We're almost done. Holy
Saturday. Yep. Saturday with our workshop is the last day. So day 85, you've already brought over an hour of fire, but what can you give? What inspiration can you give everyone? What words of encouragement can you give everyone as we come into the last 5 days of our 90-day run?
I would do a actual evaluation. Okay. So I don't care who's listening to this, whether it's Shelly or Ross or Michelle or Mafalda or Kathleen or Lucia or whoever. Do a evaluation of what actually scaled your business. Because hopefully you basically threw the whole kitchen sink at your business the last 90 days. If you did, throw a yes. Right? Put a yes in the chat. Like if you feel like you said, they said, do this, I did it. They said, do this, I did it. Da, 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 da. I want you to go through and say, all right, when I did the 30-day Reels challenge, that worked. I want you to take a note of it. If you say, okay, when I did the book club, my team grew. Okay. When I started implementing whatever, you get the point. This didn't work. That did work. This didn't work. That did work. This didn't work. That did work. go through the list, and then I want you to actually remake your calendar. Y'all have got to become best friends with a Google Calendar, an Apple Calendar, a written calendar. I don't care what kind of calendar that you're using, but every single one of you needs to use something. And I want you to actually start laying that out, because now that you know what it takes to build a business, keep running the business, but run it only with things that actually worked. Can you imagine if it is plan, do, review? Yeah. Can you imagine if every single thing in your calendar moving on past Saturday was something that you knew got you results, and you took all the fluff out of it? How different your business might look. That's what I would do. And don't just stop. Hold on. I got one more thing to say on that. I know you weren't going to cut me off anyway. I just wanted to get everyone's attention again. Guys, don't be like most people. Because I know most of you on here, I know what you do with goals. You run. You don't have to admit to this, but how many of you ran your face off and you hit a rank? Who on here is like, that was me? I worked so hard. I'm a crusher. Yeah. Now don't answer this one, but how many of you dropped rank? You want to know why? Tell you why. Because you did what most people on here are going to do after Saturday. You ran really hard and then you went, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Yeah, whatever. You're wearing a rank that you're not getting paid at. It's the same thing as dropping rank, okay? I didn't lose the rank, but you're not getting paid at it, which means you lost it. Let's all be friends here and honest about it. It's because you cannot just set goals. You have to figure out the system. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to figure out the system. I'm asking you to know what your calendar needs to look like to maintain your rank. I'm not the crazy person who says, okay, run for 90 days, and then I want you to breathe for 90 minutes and then run for another 90 days. Okay. That it might look like that, but that is not how I operate. Okay. After my 90 days, I'm going on tour in Europe, which just means shenanigans and leadership at the same time. And then I'm going to a spa for 7 straight days, and you cannot get a hold of me. That's going to be my thing. I'm going to turn off the phone. I'm really going to actually reset. Okay. But too many of you run so hard for something and then you lose all your progress because you stop. And so I really don't want this for this accelerator group. I want this accelerator group. I want all of you. There's so many of you. Make GoPro so flipping long, like make Sandy have to figure out the schedule for the $1 million trophies. Okay. Make that Hall of Fame line so long that we're TikToking in the gathering area of the studio for 4 hours while you guys are crossing the stage with your 45-second speeches. Okay. It will only happen if you figure out the system. It will only happen if you figure out the system. So please, as this comes to an end, do not quit. Your goals matter. Your future matters. All this stuff matters. And you will inspire so many people if you do figure out a system instead of just figuring out a goal.
Jessie Lee, again, thank you so much for your time. Totally appreciate it. You've been an inspiration for us too. So she will be back with us in June after she goes and decompresses. So we will have Fraser and Jessie Lee back in June for our workshop on TikTok and Reels. So we'll be back into social media. So thank you so much for your time, Jessie Lee. Couple quick announcements. We will see everyone this coming Saturday for our new distributor launch strategy workshop. We're going to be training on onboarding, launching, and getting your new distributors to core rank. So you don't want to miss that. We've got our special guests, Darnell Self, Ursula Myers, Sarah Zalecki, Tom Chenault, and our amazing guest speaker, John C. Maxwell, will be with us. You'll be getting the information here soon with all of the links and everything. From a timing standpoint, it'll be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. So you've got that in your calendar. One more note, again, as I announced on Saturday, if you are an alumni, You were with us last year for the first Accelerator program. You qualify to be in person at our Tony Robbins workshop on May 17th. If you have not received your invitation yet, and you know you qualify to be there, please reach out to us at accelerator@networkmarketingpro.com. That workshop again is on May 17th. There's been a little bit of a schedule change. So instead of our regular 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., it'll actually be from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. And that'll be 100% Tony Robbins. So 4 hours of him bringing fire. So we'll get you more information out on that. Just definitely speaking to the accelerators who are alumni. Tova, I got your email. I've passed it on. You're okay. Check your email a little later this afternoon, okay? With that, thank you so much for being here on our Monday $1 Million Mentoring. Jessie Lee, again, thank you. Hearts, hearts, hearts. You made me blush. I'm going to blush the rest of the afternoon. Love you all, and we will see you on Saturday. Bye.
Thanks, guys.